Hi, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to our first Facebook Live event. We just wanted to take the time to provide you all with the opportunity to learn about our organization and to just ask us questions. The A21 Project is an organization based here in South Louisiana dedicated to global citizenship, and this is based on social justice and intercultural education programming. Our types of programs include speakers panels, trainings, workshops, dialogue spaces, and other appropriate programs. The A21 Project exists because we're living in a world that's becoming more increasingly turbulent and disempowering. We have intolerance is on the rise. We saw with the events of this weekend, bigotry, inequality, and violence, and all those different things are preventing us from being able to create communities that are inclusive and empowering for all people. There's a lot of work that's being done here locally and nationally and globally, but we exist as a space to provide education on intercultural and social justice issues here in our community. Our overall goals are as follows. We first want to expand and deepen our local community's understanding of local and national and global issues. So understanding what's happening not only in our local community, but also what's happening in our country, what's happening in our world in regards to social justice and intercultural issues. We also want to create a forum for greater intercultural interactions through our different events. Culture is not just limited to race and ethnicity, according to us. There's many different forms of culture and that can exist. There's culture in our gender, our age, our regional identity, our religion, and we want to make sure that we're understanding how broad and how awesome culture can be and how we can engage with one another despite our differences and with our differences. We also want people to think more critically about what's happening in our communities, as well as to be more culturally humble and self-aware about what's happening in our world. Our areas of focus, as we mentioned earlier, all relate to global citizenship, and that means that we are engaged with the world and the community that we live in. We combine intercultural education and social justice education opportunities and programming in order to promote global citizenship, because you have to not only be engaged with what's happening globally, but you also have to be engaged with what's happening locally and figure out how you can make a difference in your community and in the world that you live in. That involves being a critical thinker, and it also involves being socially conscious. Our two areas of focus for the A21 Project are intercultural and social justice education. Intercultural education involving learning about other parts of the world, learning about other communities, developing meaningful interpersonal relationships that are cross-cultural, and breaking barriers. And here in our local community, those barriers exist in terms of geography, economics. They exist socially. They also exist in terms of just social barriers. So in order to be interculturally aware, we have to be willing to look outside of ourselves and step outside of our comfort zones to understand what makes us us and what makes other people them. Another part of our education programming is social justice programming, and it involves being a critical thinker, asking the why with regards to the things that happen, not just the what. Understanding that when it comes to the different social ills that happen in our community, it's not just understanding, okay, well, this policy is harming people, but what about our community what about social injustice or social inequality makes makes these issues proliferate. We have to identify the different forms of marginalization and oppression because they exist not just through policy, they exist through our language, our cultural norms, our interactions, our educational systems. And in order for us to combat and challenge oppressive systems, we have to understand how they're created and how they're upheld. So in other words, it's not just policy, it's in various ways, and we have to be able to identify them and dismantle them. And that is just a piece of our social justice programming and our intercultural programming as well. But overall, we teach value, respect, and empathy for all people in our community, locally and globally, because regardless of what you know and who you know, you have to value one another, cultures and social identities if you expect to make any difference in the community. And if you don't have that value, then the relationships fall flat. They're not mutually beneficial, they're exploitative. And that's what the 821 Project seeks to provide: mutually beneficial intercultural relationships that are grounded in social justice. We have 2 programs that we offer as of now. We have some more that we will be launching this month. The first is Tea and Truth. Tea and Truth is our monthly dialogue series, and it's just a place for people in the community to talk about the socio-political and cultural issues that impact us in our local and our global community. We've spoken about ageism, adultism, and multicultural collaborations. Our next Tea and Truth will take place on February 16th at the Jones Creek Library from 6:30 to 8:30 p.m. and we'll be talking about media oppression and empowerment as our topic. And we'll just talk about the way in which media can contribute to systems of oppression and also empower people in our community, and the role that media plays through storytelling in contributing to how we view other people, as well as how we engage with other people in our local and global community. Tea and Truth is monthly, as I said earlier, and it's also a free and public program. It's offered to anybody who attends. You don't need to pre-register. All you have to do is show up with your truth and your experiences and also your perspectives and knowledge. On the other hand, we have Voices, which is our quarterly event. Voices takes place 4 times a year. We had our last Voices event on January 14th, and Voices is just designed to get members of the community together from all parts of our community to develop multicultural solutions to issues that impact us locally. Some issues are well known, some issues are not, but we believe that in order to have true solutions, we have to make sure that everyone is included, regardless of their age, their race, their religion, their gender, their educational background, or even how long they've lived here. Whether you're a native or a transplant, we want to make sure that everyone is included in developing solutions, interpersonal, structural, political, to improving our communities and making our communities more inclusive and more geared towards social justice and equity. Our last Tea and Truth was on, as I said earlier, January 14th, and our subtopic was on building multicultural, it was on building cultural bridges, and the subtopic was cultural bridges in a time of troubled water. We discussed ways that we as a community can push our local and state community towards multiculturalism, social justice, and inclusivity to address the different issues that impact us as residents, whether we be natives or transplants. Now, we will be launching 2 programs this month. The first will be a book club. We will have an 821 Project book club that will focus on reading books about social justice issues, as well as multicultural perspectives. reading books about, people of color, books by people of color, people from other parts of the world, kind of serving as a lens to the different parts of our local and global community. And we'll provide more information about our book club later in the future, and that future will be coming really soon. In the next couple of days, we will provide another Facebook Live broadcast regarding how we can get involved, how you can get involved, rather, involved in the discussion in the book club, and also we'll let you know what book we'll be starting off the month of February with, and we'll let you know when we will have our first book club meeting. Our second program that we will be launching later this month is our Bridge Builder Brunches. On Sunday, we will, once a month on a Sunday, we will have brunch designed to bridge different members of the community. Our Bridge Builder Brunches will focus on building cross-cultural relationships among, for example, students, educators, artists, faith leaders, mothers, whatever the category will be, so that way we can learn, how people of various cultural backgrounds are navigating life through their professions or through their important identities, and figure out how we can support each other as a multicultural community, because South Louisiana is becoming more multicultural and our city is becoming more multicultural, and we have to be willing to embrace and support that. So that's all that I wanted. I wanted to give you all a synopsis and understanding of what the AIDS1 Project is. This video will be available on our website as well as on our Facebook page. If you have any questions, you can contact us and let us know, and you can put your questions here, and yeah, we'll get this ball rolling. I wanted to also, I'm trying to find our Instagram, because we are now on Instagram, and I'm trying to make sure that you all know where we are on Instagram. We are on social media, not just on Facebook, but also on Instagram and Twitter. Our Instagram is, one second. It is here. This is our Instagram. It's kind of glary. Yeah, this is our Instagram. We are on Instagram. Our username is the lowercase THE number 8 number 2 number 1 project, and we're also on Twitter. We don't have the after the at. We just have at 821 project. But we're also on Twitter. So yeah. Another thing that I wanted to talk about before I conclude this live broadcast is the AIDS1 Project issued a statement on the different events that happened this weekend. We spoke about the fact that we are an organization dedicated to intercultural and social justice education, and that statement is available online. It is on our website. It's a short statement, but it just speaks to the fact that there's a lot of work that needs to be done in our local community to ensure that we are promoting inclusivity and multiculturalism here in South Louisiana and Baton Rouge, because that work is very necessary and important. And we fear that if that work is not done, and if we don't recognize the cultural diversity and multiculturalism that exists within our own community, then we won't be able to live up to our potential as an economically powerful city in the state and the region and the nation, but also an inclusive and culturally rich place that has a lot of history and a lot of importance to not only Louisiana, but to the South and to the United States. The statement is available. I also wrote an article on our next Tea and Truth topic, media oppression and empowerment, and just talking about different ways in which media can contribute to oppression and empowerment for people in our local and global community. So our website is www.the821project.com. Again, our website is www.the821project.com. And we look forward to doing Facebook Live broadcasts more often. Sometimes I might not be the only person on a broadcast, but we just wanted to start our first Facebook Live broadcast and let you all know that we're here. We're ready to dig our heels in and get to work in the community. And just know that all are welcome, regardless of who you are, who you know, what you know, and where you come from. The 821 Project exists to empower all people towards improving their communities in any way that they can. So, bye everybody.